Happy Saturday, folks. Big day at the APA Football Club here. Team selection for Cooperstown 2024, the Ed Zach Memorial Tournament, is underway. It's kind of like the opening bell on Wall Street. Tournament director John Cochran is furiously fielding your selections. We don't have a final head count, and there is still time to register. So do let me know at APA Football Club Original at gmail.com and or Hall of Fame Tournaments at gmail.com and express your interest. Right now, we're figuring it's going to be about 150 a person a day. We're expanding 150 person for the weekend. We're expanding to 2 days, a la our Canton tournament, the Gridiron Games format. So we're adding a master game tournament on day two for folks who are not in the playoffs of the basic game tournament, which will run Saturday and Sunday. But you can email us for more details or follow our Facebook event pages. But we've got a lot to talk about here, and so we pulled out the old wrist note, wrist buddy here. And first of all, right at the top of mine, we've hit 706 subscribers, and I can't thank you all enough. It's just a bit of a shock, really. I can't really register it. It's a far cry from when we started in the early days, 2011, 2012, where our metric would hang around a dozen or 17, while we were doing game demos and evolution of Apple football videos and things like that. And, Skype was being used at the time. We just didn't think to use it to interview and record folks. So we dropped the ball there. But, ultimately, this all goes to show you just how healthy the tabletop sports hobby is. You got more games. Brian Hafferkamp is getting his new football game off the ground. You got new channels. You got Dan Evanson, a baseball replay journal, in a fairly short time, already at 507 subscribers. And there are a couple other folks who just started out, and I'll try to hunt up their links and put them in the description here. But really, really great positive sign here. Speaking of APA tournaments, we just had the Charlie Fouché by Steve Ryan down in Chattanooga. Big success down there again. We had Frank Famai's APA at Sea, another first-time tournament. And coming up on March 2nd, Pastor Rich's Greater Michigan tournament is next in the hopper, and he begs you, please, 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 with sugar on top, do not cancel now. As we talked to all the regional tournament directors in that group interview a few weeks ago, there are a lot of issues around running these tournaments, particularly as they've gotten bigger, more popular, and so it's just a good, player protocol to kind of, once you committed, be there, and we don't have to tell you all that stuff. And, there's even a Toronto tournament. They're bringing that back after something like a 30-year hiatus. We're going to be talking to the folks who are putting that on soon. So really great time. APA tournament season is rolling along quite nicely here. Then we've got Cooperstown, as I mentioned, team selection underway today. And as I say, we're expanding to 2 days from the inaugural 1 day that we did on April 1st, 2023, all those many months ago. And there is still time to get, let us know if you're interested and you want to come down there April 6th and 7th. If we have head count of 36 or fewer, we'll be back in the Learning Center. And if we expand past that, we would have to get the second room, which I think is unprecedented in APA tournament world. I don't know if another tournament has had to go to 2 rooms in the venue, much less at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Can you imagine, how loud APA is? Us and our shakers, we could be, hearing dice rattle off the walls all through the Hall of Fame there. But please let us know. Either email me at applefootballcluboriginal@gmail.com or halloffametournaments@gmail.com. Let us know if you're interested. I'd really like to get your firm commitment by, say, the end of the first week in March, because we do have to let the Hall of Fame folks know that we're going to need the second room if we do. And if we don't, that's great. And I will ask you to follow our Facebook event pages for Cooperstown and Canton to get final rate data and all that stuff. Speaking of Canton, yes, that's right. We are going from Cooperstown to Canton again, taking cards and dice from Hall of Fame to Hall of Fame. We just signed the contract for the Holiday Inn Belden Village. We've been there 2 years already. They're a great group of folks. We signed a contract for 20 rooms. That'd be 10 king rooms or 10 rooms with 2 queens in them. And of course, if you want to stay at other hotels in the Belden Village Mall area, please do. If you have loyalty programs, things like that, it's a really great bunch of retail opportunities there. It's about a 4-minute drive from the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame Village, which is another place to explore. The hotel itself has a nice looking restaurant there. Maybe we'll do the Friday dinner there. It's closed on Sunday, unfortunately, because, well, it's a bit sleepy in Canton in late August, but there is a great sports bar, Jersey's, right across the street, walking distance. Last year we did a Saturday dinner at Texas Roadhouse, which is a very short drive. So join us in Cooperstown or Canton. We're doing them. They're coming up. Got to mention, great job by Keith Medeiros. He reached out to John Herson, and you've probably seen his APA card adorned mugs all over Facebook. Just search for Keith Medeiros, APA. We're seeing, baseball cards and football cards. Someone ordered Johnny Unitas and Ted Williams, for instance. Keith apparently got permission from John Herson. So folks have just been ordering these things like crazy. I saw someone put a photo of a father teaching a child, APA. It's just amazing, and he's clearly very flexible, and all his customer service reviews are spot on. 5 stars all the way. I've seen folks customize with images of dice and those aforementioned loud shakers. So, boy, get in touch with Keith Medeiros via Facebook. Direct message him and get your mugs, your APA mugs. Maybe he'll expand to Stratomatic. Who knows? He could be like Paul Barone, where we help Paul promote his Stratomatic fields in the APA community, and they've gone multi-platform. Definitely an idea for some sort of a gift for tournament attendees. We might have to look into this for Canton as a gift for attendees there. Let's get down to the real brass tacks there, though. I want to talk about the brand new quarterback asterisk feature in APA football, starting with the 2022 season set. And I want to talk a little bit about reading the APA football cards. I think everyone talks about reading the APA baseball cards and the romance and nostalgia and the mystery, and there's every bit of that in the APA football cards. I know that some folks think, wow, a lot of generic cards are in there, and there's no lie there, but there's a lot of fun reading the APA football cards, and I'll show you how easy it is. But first, let's talk about the quarterback asterisk. Now, you'll see the new rule listed at the bottom of the 2022 season set or roster. Okay, and you see the corrected Jalen Hurts card was sent out here, and he is one of those quarterback asterisks. The asterisk in APA football is legend. Don Hutson received the APA asterisk to show that he was untouchable. He couldn't be defended by any secondary out there. And then in 72, starting with the original 72 season, post Tom Dempsey's 63-yard field goal, they started giving certain kickers an asterisk to let them go for that long 50-plus yard kick. Well, now the asterisk has been added to the quarterback column. I think it's long overdue. And the reason is this. Starting with a master game in 1983 for the 1982 season set, APA started adding scramble numbers to the quarterback's P column, these 26s and 27s. And what that means is when you call a pass play and you encounter that number 26 or 27, if you look, you will see that that results in an R or an RJ asterisk. That means B, quarterback could be injured on the play, or I think whoever it is throwing the ball is injured on that play. But that R means that the quarterback has taken off with the ball on a scramble, triggered by a pass play. You then re-roll and look at the quarterback's R column on an outside run using the base offensive index as calculated for that game against the defensive line strength and setting as called. Okay. Now that was great when you were in the days of the more immobile quarterbacks, Roger Dodger and Fran Tarkenton and Burt Jones and Terry Bradshaw notwithstanding. Most folks were pretty statue-like in the pocket there. You didn't have the mobile quarterbacks, the collegiate style, hybrid quarterbacks, frankly, of today. And so you could throw a couple scramble numbers in the P column and retain the granularity of your passing game because you wouldn't devote as many run results to the 36 results on the card. But of course, since Michael Vick and, well, even going back to Randall Cunningham, 1990, that new era of football means that more quarterbacks are taking the ball more on designed runs and or choosing to scramble when the play breaks down. So APA started adding more and more 26s and 27s, those scramble numbers to the P column. Well, clearly the more run numbers you add to the P column, the fewer passing results you have in there, and you dilute the granularity and the accuracy of your passing game. And boy, there was nothing that made that more clear than that pretty intense between the lines discussion regarding the 2021 Josh Allen card. So, Apple working with the community as answered the call. I don't know that there might be some other ways to use the quarterback asterisk. I've done some modifications where you give passing grades A, B, or C to screen short, medium, or long passing. That might complicate the game a bit much, but the quarterback asterisk now means that you can send the quarterback on more designed runs. Going back to the introduction of the master game, part of the new feature of the game was a trick play card that you could use once per half. And one of the trick plays was the quarterback bootleg. That shows you how far the NFL has evolved. Okay, so instead of loading the P column with scramble results 26 and 27, Apple is removing more of those, giving the quarterbacks who are more mobile the asterisk, and you can now call the inside run, the outside run, even I would call the draw, why not? And go from there. You don't have to burn a trick play. It's just one of those things that I've always called the quarterback on a run. Certainly, if you're playing the original Apple season sets, 1981 back to 1957, you would have to call a quarterback scramble. Bart Starr, the Ice Bowl, something like that. Bobby Douglas, 1972, is the name that always comes up for that tremendous rushing season. You had to call all his running plays because there was no scramble number prior to the original 1982 Apple football season set. So we see on the 2022 Apple football roster, the set just came out, and you see the rule right here. Starting with the 2022 pro football season, there is a new quarterback designation, QB asterisk. A QB asterisk is treated like a regular running back. A QB asterisk is graded as a combination running back. If you're playing a QB asterisk, you will have to call run plays for the quarterback. Otherwise, the QB will not have enough rushing attempts using just the scrambles in the B column. Hurts is a QB asterisk in this set. So you'll probably go back to somebody like a Jim Hart, 1968 here. He didn't really have great scramble numbers there. A lot of quarterbacks had 3, 5, 7, 9 numbers back in the day. A combination running back in APA is someone who gets 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And I would count 20 as the combination number there as well for someone who's equally good running inside or outside. Remember that a scat back is someone who has 3, 5, 7, 9 in the R column predominantly. Oftentimes you'll see wide receivers who are sent on end arounds. There's another trick play for you, and you have to call those to get the accurate stats there. And then you have the 4, 6, 8 running backs who are great on the inside run or the old plunge play. But these QB asterisk guys are now all-around runners. You have to call specific running plays to get them all the rushing attempts in addition to those that are triggered when you call a pass play and the scramble number comes up and you re-roll for them on an outside run. I thought it would be fun to kind of look back at some of the cards. Remember, again, I already mentioned Bobby Douglas. I believe he's got a dozen. He does. I just counted them this morning. Again, his recalculated 72 card had 12 scramble numbers. Now, in his case, he had a sub 40% completion percentage. Not much more granularity you need for that. But in this era, when you got a mobile quarterback who also has a 60% plus completion rate, you need to preserve the granularity of the passing game, which also begs the question now, would you want APA to go back? Do they need to go back to the 2021 season, all the way back to the original 1990 Masters season? Do you need to start adding this feature to all those old cards, or if you're going to reissue those sets. And for quarterbacks in the original 57 to 1981 seasons, many of those have been recalculated for the master game compatibility as well. Do you need to go back and adjust some of those quarterbacks to asterisked quarterbacks? Don't know, but that's a question for another day. Let's going back to here's Jalen Hurts from 2021, just by comparison. And here you see he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scramble numbers there, and that was fairly common in as far as patterns go in Apple football cards. And now he's just got the 3, you see. So on the 2021 Jalen Hurts, all his scramble numbers originate from the passing column. Now you can send him, he has been blessed, you can send him on the outside run. And it's notable, he's still got that 3 Ks leading to 7 2s in the K column. When he breaks away on a run, if you hit 11, 33, or 66, you hit that K, you roll again, and you hope to get one of the 7 2s on his K column, although all the numbers there are great gains. Okay, let's take another look. Now, Patrick Mahomes, I would have expected would have had more scramble numbers for 2021. In fact, he's only got 2, a 26 and a 27, so good granularity there. Let's go back to good old Michael Vick, 2006. It's got the little hanging chad there. Remember the old days of having to separate your cards there. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scramble numbers that I count there. So again, that's going to dilute out of 36 options for results. The more scramble numbers, the fewer passing numbers. It muddles your passing game there. Here's Michael Vick from 2001. Now there's 1 scramble, a 27. There's a 26, another 26. So that's fairly moderate. That's another 26. That's 4 scramble numbers for 2001 Michael Vick. Here's a 2001 Randall Cunningham, 26, 26, 27. There's 3 of them right there. There's a 26. And I think that's all of them. So there's 4. But now let's go back, get more vintage. Prime Randall, 1990, right? Copyright 1991. Back there, J0. And let's see, how many did he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They stuck just at the 6. Again, that was a bit of a pattern there. Let's go back to 1966 Tarkenton, remastered for the Master Game. Copyright 2018. Now, would you go back on something like this and make him a quarterback asterisk? Let's see, what's he got? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's only got 4 scramble numbers there, so that seems manageable. You could take 1 away. I wouldn't advocate Apple go back and introduce all the quarterback asterisks. I think they've got it now. They've dialed that in. That's the new rule. So check this out. If you have the 2022 football set, go download the roster, and the quarterback asterisk rules explained right there. Now, last thing I want to do is I want to talk about the Apple Football Handbook we're putting together. I want to talk about reading the Apple Football cards while they slide out from my control here. And you can see what I'm doing for the Apple Football Handbook, very unofficial, no card images, things like that, is I'm reviewing all these teams. This year, I'm reviewing teams one a day based on their adequacy as a what-if team. And a lot of these teams are 7-7 or 8-8. We're going to do a lot of the 500 teams, or the teams that missed out in the pre-wild card era. That's a lot of what we're reviewing here. Remember, in 2013, we reviewed a team a day for the first draft of the Apple Football Handbook. And we, of course, covered a lot of the greatest teams and a lot of the worst teams. So, we did the 1960 Cowboys. I don't know if we did the 82 Colts, but definitely did the 76 Buccaneers. And, of course, we did a lot of the great, all the name game Raiders teams and a lot of the Super Bowl teams, just so you can compare the numbers, offense and defense over the years. You can see teams. I featured teams that were, 79, 80, and 81 Niners, for instance, how they built that team up into a Super Bowl winner. For this year, I'm doing, again, what-if teams that we didn't cover in 2013. And so I'm digging out all the cards, and right now we're going to start with 1968. In fact, I'm getting ready to post the 68 Cardinals today. But as I'm doing this, I had to kind of go through the card sets really quickly and set up the rosters to count the points for the new cards and for the old big envelope versions. Remember, 1968 was the second season of the big NFL reorganization from 2 conferences into 4 4-team divisions, right? And APA started the big envelopes with the, they started the new typography on the envelopes in 1967. This big typography here, it used to be that really condensed sans serif all cap. Now it's nice and breathing a bit more there. But I want to show you about, the romance of reading the APA football cards here, okay? So let's just see. Let's go through quickly. I'm going to move this over here, and I want to show you how easy it is to read the APA football cards and what they're telling you, how quickly you can read a team's capabilities. Since the Master Game was issued in 1983 for the 1982 season set, APA introduced more touchdown results, and those had changed throughout the years. For instance, a 1 alone is not a touchdown. Sometimes a 13 or a 14 or a 23 or 24 is a touchdown. Once you know the results on the charts, you will be able to read the cards better. So on kickoffs and onside kick returns, in addition to a 1 being a touchdown, a 13 is a touchdown. On punt returns and safety kicks, a 14 is also a touchdown return. On fumble recoveries, a 23 is a touchdown return. And on passes, a 24 is a touchdown in addition to a 1. So all that said, you can really quickly assess a team's strengths and weaknesses, but there are several other things to look for. Remember that APA players are rated from 5 best points down to 1 worst, and kickers and punters are usually given that 1 as a fullback or a safety, things like that. So I've never seen those people before in my life. The 1968 St. Louis Cardinals. And I'm going to go through this really quickly. I'm going to, without looking at the rosters, because I'm really impressed for time, so I just want to get the lineup as close as I can, then verify it with Pro Football Reference or something like that before I count the points, compare the new team versus the old team to show you how APA's mentality has evolved, and also compare these teams that were contenders in that 1968 season behind the division winners, and show you, how great a replay project, if you want to do a 1-team schedule to see if you can get them in the playoffs, all else being equal. So I'm going to start. The cards are a little out of order here. Remember that when the APA cards are coming now, they're coming in these boxes. They used to come in the envelopes. They're now coming in boxes where the teams are ordered alphabetically and the players are ordered alphabetically. So you pull them out of the box there, whereas they used to already be alphabetical in the envelope here. So here are the 1968 Cardinals, the new set, calculated in copyright 2021, Master Game compatible. This is the original 68 Cardinals, introduced in 1969 during the second revision era of pre-Master APA football results chart. So I'm just going to go through this right now. I'm going to set up my lineups. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an offensive deck, a defensive deck, a special teams deck, and then the backups, the ones I view as backups. So remember, 5s are always going to start, 4s are always going to start, and as you get down to these teams that are not division winners, Super Bowl contenders, or Super Bowl losers, I guess, then, a lot of times the 3 is going to start. 2s or 1s rarely start, but 2s in this kind of an exercise, a lot of those guys will get the start. So right off the bat, here's Jim Hart as a 3, most likely a starter. Fred Herron is a 3 on defense. I'm just going to go through this real fast now. So there's a starting offense and starting defense pile, and then the backups. Okay, and this is how quickly you can read these cards. Okay, La Tourette, you've got all the special teams cards there. PAK is the primary kicker. 1, forget it. 2, forget it. Dave Long, he's got a QS3. That means he did have some sacks, and he's also got a 0-yardage kickoff return. I'm going to assume he's not a starter. Dave Megazy at 68, he might have been, but I'm not going to commit yet. These guys are definitely starters. However, Johnny Rowland, he's got 2 cards because he's got some special teams results there. I'll put him there. And I see you're getting a lot of 2s here, but see here are the 3s coming in. The 1, not a starter, but he's a 2. He's a 2. Jackie Smith, you know he's a starter. Rick Sorton. So here's a case where you're going to have, I think, some 2s as starters, but here are the 3s. So again, I'm just doing this quickly to get the bulk of the team in order before I go back and square away the there's a 3 and the roster so that I can look at it. I take my offensive guys, and this is already, there's no 11, not 11 people here, so there are going to be some 2s starting on this side. I turn my special teams guys upside down, then I put the defensive guys there, and then for purposes of the handbook, in addition to taking all my backups and putting them together, I look for any folks who have some pretty wild numbers, and I don't see anything yet. Fairly generic. I want to see if anyone has a big on offense, a breakaway number, or a good pass receiving grade on defense or offense, any fumble recovery touchdowns, any stray big gains on, here's Roy Shivers, okay. He's got 3 Ks in his R column, leading him to 7-2, so he has got a breakaway run, so I may actually put him on the offensive starter stack there. Just, yeah, he's a 2-point tight end. C receiver, nothing there. I don't see much in the R columns here that would say somebody had a long gain on anything. Now, Charlie Johnson is a backup 3, 4, and 3. He's only 2 points. Jim Hart is a 3. Jim Hart clearly the starter there. All right, so that's the 68. That's how quickly you can assess the 68 Cardinals. Let's say you showed up at my house and I said, hey, I play the 68 Cardinals. I'm going to get the team together really quickly. I don't even have the roster. I'm just going to set up my lineup. And here, someone might have already organized. I'm going to do the same thing with the old set, the original set. And set up an offensive deck here and a defensive deck. It looks like this is already, that's very nice. See, Jim Hart already got improved to a 3. And somebody's already done that with these sets, so that's, oh, maybe I already did it. I might have. I forget. And there's the special teams. Yeah, this looks like something I might have done already. So excited I'm knocking the camera around here, the old gooseneck. So, all right. So it looks like I've already set that up. So now, before I've already written the my review of the team, I'm going to go back and look at some of the numbers here and just add some of the points. Let's take the 68 Packers here. Okay, Super Bowl hangover, 6-7-1. Now, could they have turned around a couple games? Well, here's looking at that. Let's take a look at the 2021 version of the 68 Packers and just set up, quickly. Look at their potential starting offense, defense, and special teams. This is starting offense, starting defense, backups, as I'm perceiving them from reading the cards. Okay, it's just, first of all, I'm looking at the 5s, 4s, and 3s to start. 2s and 1s are probably going in the backup pile, pending confirmation that they might have made the starting lineup. All right, Jim Flanagan's a 2. Mark Fleming, 3 and B, definitely. Okay, you want A and B receivers, not the C's. 3s are generally going to get the start, particularly on a team that is around 500 or less. The winning teams are going to have more 4s and 5s. Now here's one. Don Horn, probably a very infrequently used quarterback, only 2 points, but 1, 2, and 1 at 11:33:66. That's a killer card. If you need a big gain, you might want to throw him in there. Who else you got here? Bob Jeter's a 3, definite starter. Henry Jordan. Who'd I drop? Kosnick. Sure, Jerry Kramer, of course. Bill Luke is a 2. Errol Mann, Dad Man. Chuck Mersane now. He's an outside runner, 4.68 guy. We already talked about that. Mercer is he's a primary place kicker and kickoff guy. And Ray Nitschke, of course. Okay, so, this is a team that just won back-to-back Super Bowls. There's still going to be some 4s, maybe a 5 here or there, but also going to have a downturn in the overall numbers there. So let's see, Skoronski, Starr, Billy Stevens, another quarterback. So we got some injury issues there. Bart Starr's a J4, so you can already see he's got the worst injury rating there. He might be out for a game or 2 max. We also got OAK. He's your left halfback on a kickoff return. We got Franz Winkler. We got Willie Woods. So there we go. We got almost 11 guys here. Okay, I'll take my offense. I'll take my special teamers, put them down there. And again, I'm doing this as shorthand so I can just kind of see what cards, are the starters here, or the likely starters. And then I will take the rest of these guys who are backups. And again, if I see any big names, if there's a rookie, someone who's a rookie in here and or has some big gains, and I don't see anything like that yet. But if you see any ones or Ks or B receivers, B grade receivers in here, even though they're 2 points, that's someone valuable. In other words, you learn the game like any other game, and it's actually quite easy. Chuck Mersane, we already looked at him. He doesn't have any breakaway numbers, but he is a 4.68 inside guy. Maybe you need that on occasion. He's also a backup kicker. Does he have great numbers? They're not bad numbers, so if you need a kicker of a certain length in a pinch, you might want to use him if you want a little more guarantee. Let's see, 3.5. This is Claudius James. If you need a receiver, you want to end around a receiver there, you might want to use him specifically. And yes, a lot of these, we already mentioned Don Horn. He's got a killer P column. He might have only thrown, completed 3 of 6, but long touchdown. So that's why I might get those numbers. You don't want to overuse the guy. But then again, if you're a 68 Packers fan and you want to say, darn it, Bart Starr's got, he's 1.31. So that's not too bad either. But compare Don Horn among the backups here, and you can see the difference that Bart Starr's got some good run numbers. He's got 3s at 11.3366R, so you can send him outside. If Bart Starr does hit that J4 injury and he is out for a game or two, I might go right to Don Horn with that 1.21. Although Don Horn is also a J4, so his injury capability is, his likelihood is high there. Then let's take the 68 Chargers. They finished 9-5. The Cardinals we saw are 9-4-1. There would have been a great Super Bowl 3. The Cards and the Chargers, right? So that's why I'm focusing on teams that I hadn't reviewed in 2013. Like I say, I did mostly Super Bowl teams or the Super Bowl runners-up rather. And here is a case where these teams, whether you still had the AFL, the 2 divisions or 2 conferences, there were no wild cards until the AFL actually did a divisional playoff for the 69 and last season, which technically makes the Chiefs the first wild card to win a Super Bowl, not the 80 Raiders, if you consider it that way. Of course, from 1970 to 77, the NFL had 1 wild card. From 78 to 89, 2 wild cards. From 90 to 2001, 3 wild cards. So in those pre-wild card years, so many of these teams just get left out in the cold that's why I want to review them and say, look, I would play the 68 Chargers, even though they're a 9-5 team. It's not the greatest, but, compared to the Jets, maybe they would have made it. Can you imagine the Chargers and Colts in Super Bowl 3? Heck, Johnny Unitas facing his what would be his last team there. So again, we're going to look at the 68 Chargers, the new set, calculated copyright 2021, and calculated for the master game. And I'm going to look for, again, I'm looking just to quickly create a starting offense and defensive lineup, separate the best cards out, and keep an eye on the backups who have good promise. And right off the bat, so he's a backup, and I'm going to start my backup piles for offense and defense. I'm looking for 5s, 4s, and mostly 3s are going to be starters here. I'm looking for my special teams guys. I'm looking for 1s and 2s are great numbers for returns. I'm looking for, even if they're low-pointed receivers, A's and B's. So a 2-point receiver who's a B grade is not bad. I'm looking for running backs who have K's in their R column for breakaways, even though Keith Lincoln's a 2 there. If he had those, oh, look at that. Larry Little, the Dolphin to be. I'm going to keep him on top because I want to make sure I write about him and see if he's, I forget if he's a rookie there. And there's a 4-pointer on defense. So oftentimes you'll go through the alphabetical deck here and see a bunch of 2s, and you're thinking, what the heck is happening? And so here's Jim Featherston, and he's a 2. He may not be a starter, but His fumble recoveries are looked up in the R column. He's got some nice 8s and 18s here. So maybe, even though you can only use him as a middle linebacker, maybe you try to get him in the mix on occasion. See, here's Willie Frazier, a 2-pointer only, but a B. So he might be a starter, and certainly someone on a in a 2 tight end or 3 wide receiver package. And it's nice that he's got the tight end and wide receiver designations. When you call an audible on offense, defensive coach guesses your play, you can call an audible once per quarter, and you can't change your personnel, but you can change where they are in the lineup. So you can switch from if you've got a 3 wide or a 2 wide set, you could change Frazier to a second tight end and run out of that, etc. Let's see, Bob Briggs is only a 2. He's probably a backup. Harold Aiken, probably a 2 backup. Scott Appleton is 3. I'm going to start him. Joe Beauchamp, 4, clear starter. John Brittenham is a 1-point quarterback. He's got some decent numbers, though. A 3 and a 3 and a 2 there, so something to watch for. That's really a low on the desirability list as a 1. Now here's Ken Dyer. Not big numbers there, but fumble recovery are. Oh, look at those 1s. See, so he broke a touchdown on a fumble recovery. So I'm going to keep him at the top of the backup deck. I want to use him. Dick Farley doesn't have an interception, no W number, no Q number for sacks. And so it looks like a fairly generic card, not too spectacular. I'm going to make sure I keep Ken Dyer. He's going to go on the top of my backup stack here. And keep going here. Just get the 3s. All right. John Hadel, of course. And John Hadel has a some kicking there, some cornerback action with a 3. Brad Hubbard's only a 2-point fullback. He's a split grade, 3 on a pass play, 2 on a run, but he's an AB receiver. So even though he's a 2, he's a huge asset there. And we're just going to do this. Bill Linkaitis, wow. Patriot to be there, only a 1. Might be a rookie. Is he a rookie? Go check his birthday there. Whoops, I just put that in the wrong spot. I want to keep Ken Dyer right on top there. Ron Mix, 5. See, even in this 9-5 squad, Ron Mix, those guys who stand out. Terry Owens is a 3. Dennis Partee, you're a kicker, punter, and he's got some darn good numbers there all around. Very cool. Dickie Post, now he's got a 3K leading to the 4 1s and 3 2s in the K column, so he's got the longer breakaway style on OBK. He's also got the second card because he returns kickoffs from the right halfback position. Bob Print. Now, see, there's another middle linebacker there. Remember, we talked about our middle linebacker who had some good numbers. Where is he? I'll probably put him in the stack. So, a 2-point middle linebacker might be the best you get for this team, but there's a 3. Russ Smith, there's another guy with good breakaway numbers. So, might not start as only a 2-pointer, but then again, you might want to work him into a full house backfield, something like that. Jeff Staggs, 3-point, probably a starter for this team. Walt Sweeney, another 5. This is a team that could go a lot farther than, get a lot higher than 9-5, I think. Russ Washington, Andre White, he's 2-point, but he's only a C, and he doesn't have much in the way of rushing numbers outside of something generic. I mean, a couple of them are bad, but I wouldn't bank on them. Bud Whitehead, OCK. He's a tertiary kickoff return guy, but look at those numbers. He broke with these 4s and 5s. I'm just going to look that up. Let's go check that out on the chart. What's he got? Kickoff returns, 4s and 5s. Woo! 70, 64, 57, 63. So, yeah, those single numbers look good to me. So, I'm going to keep him high on my list. So I've got more than enough folks here. That's going to be a good close to 40-point offense, I can tell you already. And this defense, it'll be a little more suspect. And then, remember, we got Ken Dyer here. Going to throw him in, figuring that this defense is going to be sub 40. You can have some 2-point starters. You can go nickel or dime with Ken Dyer and get that opportunity for a fumble recovery in there. Definitely use them on special teams as well. And is there anybody we noted? Well, we got Bud Whitehead. Definitely going to make sure I use him this season as one of my, not a primary kick returner, but kickoff returner, and certainly on an onside kickoff, he's going in the game. No doubt about that. So there are that's the new version of the 68 Chargers. Let's do one last one here. Remember, you know, starting around 2000, you had 40 or more player cards per deck, whereas in the old days, those beautiful purple backs, all right, in the old days, you only had 30 players per team up until the 1969 season. Okay. With the 69 season, they offered you 4 extra players, those perforated sheets. And then in 1976, they expanded the base set from 30 to 32 players, and they gave you a 5th possible XF or extra football player. Again, from 2000 upward, you're getting 40, close to 50 players a team. So, you know, it's a far different enterprise to go through the newer card deck. And the thing about buying these newer card decks is that, for instance, the Vikings, was the 65 Vikings we just profiled, or 67. Dave Osborne was a rookie, but he was not in, I think it's the 67 Vikings. Dave Osborne was not carded in the original 30-player set because he was a rookie, but he had a 92-yard kickoff return. Didn't score a touchdown, but in most cases it would. But you didn't get his card with the original set. You definitely want to buy the newly recalculated versions of the APBA sets because you're getting more players who weren't in the originals. They didn't make the cut because they weren't starters. But boy, some of them had some big stats. So definitely you want to check out and upgrade your sets for sure. All right, so we're going to go, I'll put the starters up here. And again, this set looks like this has already been worked through, so all the 4s. And this is shocking for an AFL set. Remember, it took APBA until the later 60s to start giving the AFL guys 4s and 5s. The first AFL set APBA ever made was for the 64 season, and from 64 to, say, 67. These guys were not getting the same consideration as the NFL guys, but look at this. This is actually a heck of a team. Yeah, so this team has already been, I've probably already gone through this team. I might have reviewed them in 2013. I'm not sure. So, and this is a case where someone had to customize their envelope. Should we do one more? What do we have? Oh, let's do this. Let's do a purely 500 team. The 68 Bears. Butkus, Sayers, Piccolo. All right, let's start with the old set. I'm going to take a look at this. Remember, too, that the old sets did not break down the interception returns on the R column and the fumble recoveries. If there was a no-gain fumble recovery, they didn't used to designate that. If, you know, someone was a kick returner, let's just go find, well, the kicking game was always handled on the K column, but for the returners, the R column was pretty much used. So this Cecil Turner, OA, primary kickoff returner, TA, primary punt returner at left corner and left halfback, respectively. We looked at all that on the R column. Okay, now if you look at his card today, you will see he might even have 2 cards. He's going to have a lot more designations on there. Okay, so he's going to have his punt returns are going to be in the P column. His kickoff returns are going to be in the K column, and he's got a 0-yard fumble recovery if he gets it there. And then he's also got his actual run numbers. So if he's in as wide receiver and you want to send him on an end around, 3-5-7s are great for outside runs. So you've got that granularity that you didn't have in the original sets. Yet another reason to buy the upgrades. So I will skip the original set here. Could the 7-7 Bears have done better? Well, you know, we'll have to look at, I call the swing games, games that they lost by 7 or fewer points. Now, you can also say the swing games that they won by 7 or fewer points are swing games, but I'm trying to look at the games that you could turn around, all things being equal. Maybe move the Bears up to a 9-5 record or 10-4. You know, maybe they challenge for Super Bowl III, you know. Let's see. I mean, certainly in 63, everyone wants to play the 63 Bears versus Chargers, so why not 68? So let's just go through this deck real quick, and I'll put the backups in the back. I'm just going to go through real quickly how I check out a set here. Starting offense, starting defense. And this is how quickly I can build a lineup. My backups are down there. Backup. Starter. Most likely backup. Nothing standing out. And return numbers there. Pettibon, of course, a starter. Percival, he's a special terms guy. Bradovich for 7-17, but 3 is probably going to start. Wayne Mass, possible, but doubtful. Gary Lyle's got a lot going on here for, put him in the special team pile for now. Andy Livingston, a rare 1-2 split. No big numbers there. Sure hope he's not a starter. Rudy Kuchenberg, probably a backup. I'm going to count him as a backup there. Ralph Korek, looking like a backup there. Bob Jones, definitely. John Kilgore's a punter. Randy Jackson, he's an offensive starter. John Johnson, not looking promising. Doug Buffon, let's go back to the top. Yuri Bukic, now in this case, your starting quarterback might be a 2 at best, and this being the Bears, even more likely. Ronnie Bull's probably starter. Now, Dick Butkus is going to be a 5, just like Ron Mix with those Chargers. Butkus is going to be a 5 as a first-team AP All-Pro. Virgil Carter now, look at this. Fumble recovery 0, but he's got those breakaway numbers. He's got 7 2s among those outside runs. So I'm going to say, well, I don't care about as played. I might very well decide, maybe I'll do the quarterback carousel, and I'll set Bukic and Carter in on every other play. So I tend to turn someone's possible often use backup underneath the starter there. Clarence Childs, OCK. Look at these numbers there. A lot of single numbers. And 2-3-2. He broke a long game. I can tell you that right now. Oh, Jack Concannon. Here's a quarterback. Well, now we got a 3-way carousel. Well, who's got the better P column numbers? Bukic, Carter, or Concannon? Well, I'm seeing Carter's got 3-3-3. So really, he's the starter here. But he's a J4. In fact, they're all J4. So we had a quarterback injury situation here. Bukic and Concannon. Bukic has a slightly better outlook. Well, no, he doesn't, because he's 5.55. Concannon's got a 2 down here. So I'm going to say in order, Carter, then Concannon, then Bukic. So Carter, Concannon, then Bukic as my rotation there. Back to backups. Austin Denny, clear starter to B grade and 3. Evie's a 3 there. Kurt Gentry. On a team like this, you might see some 2-pointers in the secondary. Dick Gordon, 3B starter for sure. Bobby Joe Green, he's a backup kicker punter. Put him in the special teams pile. Major Hazelton, TCP. I don't see outlandish numbers for returns there. Willie Holman, probably not a starter. Mike Hall, most likely not. So, again, for quickly going through a deck, assessing a team's potency, player characteristics, big breakaway folks, good receivers. I'm looking at the deck that quickly. I can put together most of a starting offense. Got my special teamers here. I can put together most of a starting defense. And then I get on my backups here. And I don't really see a lot of exceptional numbers on the, on the set of, in the backup pile here. That's how quickly you can read the APBA football deck. As you learn what's on the results charts, you can clearly ascertain a team's capabilities vis-a-vis their record, and actually even regardless of the record, the APBA football cards tell you a lot. And then you're going to drill down into percentage of sacks, turnover percentage. I mean, here's a freaking Dick Gordon. If you're going to send him on a run, does he have any fumble numbers? He got the one. Of course, everyone gets the full fumble number and the full penalty number. Does he have any half fumbles here? Well, he's got a second fumble number there. I don't know if that's fairly generic for this set as compared to tight end Austin Denny. Let's see. Now, Denny doesn't seem to have as many. That second fumble number, I, in fact, don't see. That can't be right. Is he missing a fumble number completely? I think he might be. Well, there you go. Well, Virgil Carter. Oh, and did I? Yes. In terms of quarterbacks, well, Virgil Carter. Let's see. Check out the scramble numbers. He's got 2 27s and a 26. He's got a 26 and a 26 and a 26. So he gets the 6 scramble numbers because this is prior to the QB asterisk. Clearly, he was running a lot, so this might be a candidate for the QB asterisk. But it looks like he's got a fairly decent P column there, although those 19s and 20s definitely don't help you much. That's 17 for sure either. In any case, that's how quickly you can read an Apple football team deck, put together the guts of a starting offense and defense, and get a sense of what the team can do and find those hidden gems, particularly with the expanded newer season sets. Thank you all for 706 subscribers. We got a lot more cool interviews on the way. Always want to hear from you if we can help with any special requests, custom videos. Always happy to do what we can there. And tell us about your intention if you want to try to get into Cooperstown. We've got the room. Canton, definitely. Canton, we're opening it up. You want to play his second season, you want to play Arthur Franz's breakaway football next to Apple football. The Apple football guys, I'm telling you, might get outnumbered this year. We're going to have some cool presentations by Zoom. That's a thing that we've been doing since we didn't do it in 2013, actually, but we did have a Denny Hodge, the late and great Apple football card calculator, called in there. So onward and upward from here. Enjoy your weekend, roll a few great games, and check out Keith Medeiros' mugs and put in an order. Really cool stuff there. Another great customizer for this wonderful tabletop sports hobby that's growing day by day. Thank you.